Some paths are walked by few, chosen not by chance, but by destiny. They are men whose lives are set apart, not for fame or praise, but for a purpose so profound it shapes the very fabric of their existence. These are the ones who move silently through the world, unnoticed yet undeniably powerful. Their strength does not come from numbers or support. It comes from within, honed through solitude, discipline, and relentless self-mastery. In this journey, you will uncover why a chosen man often walks alone, why solitude becomes his closest ally, and how the most profound lessons of life are revealed in moments when the world is quiet and still. You will learn how clarity of mind and strength of spirit guide decisions, how unseen burdens forge resilience, and how detachment from fleeting pleasures sharpens true vision. Few understand that loneliness is not a curse. It is a mark of those who dare to walk the untrodden path. The wisdom of Shaolin masters teaches that through mindful reflection, disciplined practice, and unwavering focus, one discovers the hidden power within. Today we explore secrets seldom spoken, the subtle truths behind courage, patience, and inner alignment, revealing how solitude can become the forge of greatness. Stay with me until the end, because the lessons shared here are more than theory. They are practical guides to shaping a life of purpose, mastery, and quiet influence. Every step alone carries a story. Every challenge hidden in the silence offers insight, and by the time you finish this video, you will see the power of walking a path few dare to follow. Welcome to Shaolin Soulfire. Subscribe now and join a journey of wisdom, reflection, and mastery that lights the soul from within. In the quiet moments when the world fades away, the mind begins to speak in whispers often drowned by noise and distraction. Solitude is not emptiness, it is a mirror reflecting the truths we rarely see in the presence of others. The chosen man learns to sit with himself, to observe without judgment, and to listen to the subtle currents of thought and emotion that rise within. Shaolin masters have long taught that true strength is born in the stillness of self-reflection. In solitude, fear reveals its shape, showing where courage must grow. Desire uncovers its illusions, exposing attachments that weaken the spirit, and the ego, that restless shadow, becomes visible in its truest form, offering the rare chance to understand, refine, and transcend it. Every heartbeat in silence becomes a lesson, each breath a guide toward inner clarity. The mind, unclouded by chatter, sharpens like a blade forged in calm. The soul awakens to its own rhythms, discovering depths that chaos and companionship often conceal. Here, in the space between thoughts, the chosen man confronts what is hidden, wrestles with what is unresolved, and emerges more whole. This is not an easy path. Moments of discomfort, of facing the self without distraction, test patience and resolve. Yet it is in these trials that wisdom settles. The silence teaches patience, humility, and the power of being fully present. One begins to understand that solitude is not mere absence of others. It is the presence of truth, a sacred teacher guiding each step toward mastery. To walk alone is to meet oneself honestly, without masks or pretense. And in this meeting, a chosen man begins to transform fear into clarity, desire into purpose, and ego into quiet strength, carrying within him the essence of the Shaolin way. Distractions are like currents in a river, subtle but relentless, pulling the mind away from its true course. A chosen man learns early that the world offers countless temptations, the clamor of praise, the allure of comfort, the endless pursuit of fleeting approval. Each one, if left unchecked, weakens the spirit and scatters the focus, yet within the quiet of disciplined practice, a deeper strength begins to form, a resilience that cannot be swayed by noise or indulgence. Ancient Shaolin masters spoke of the mind as a garden. Without careful attention, weeds of distraction grow, choking the seeds of purpose. Through mindful breathing, deliberate movement, and the stillness of reflection, the mind is trained to notice without surrendering, to observe without attachment. Each moment of awareness becomes a step toward clarity, each pause a reinforcement of intention. Walking a path alone offers the rare freedom to cultivate this mastery. When external voices fade, The chosen man confronts only himself and the rhythm of his purpose. Every decision, every action, is measured not by the applause of others, but by the alignment with inner truth. This discipline does not demand harshness or rigidity. It is a gentle insistence, a constant return to focus when the mind drifts. Over time, presence becomes a natural state, not an effort. The pull of trivial pursuits diminishes, replaced by a quiet confidence rooted in self-mastery. Each day of mindful attention strengthens resolve, sharpening the ability to act with intention and clarity. In this, the chosen man discovers that mastery over distraction is more than control. It is freedom. Freedom to pursue purpose without compromise, to walk a path undisturbed, and to cultivate a life shaped by inner vision rather than external noise. The world continues its clamor, yet the chosen man moves through it like water flowing around stones, steady, unshaken, and fully alive in each moment. True strength is rarely found in the voices of others or in the weight of their approval. A chosen man learns that reliance on external support can become a quiet chain, binding the spirit to circumstances beyond control. In contrast, walking alone cultivates a power that is steady, self-sufficient, and unshakable. The world may offer guidance, friendship, or comfort, but the deepest mastery comes from discovering the fortitude that resides within. Shaolin masters have long taught that resilience is forged in solitude. When there is no one to lean on, patience becomes a companion, and every challenge is met with deliberate calm. Each step taken without reliance sharpens discernment. Each decision made independently strengthens clarity of purpose. Over time, a quiet confidence grows, one that does not boast, does not demand recognition, but radiates from the certainty of self-mastery. Inner strength is cultivated not through struggle against others, but through disciplined engagement with one's own limitations and fears. The body learns endurance through mindful training, the mind learns focus through meditation, and the spirit learns patience through repeated reflection. Together, they form a foundation that external alliances cannot provide, a stability that cannot be shaken by praise or criticism. The chosen man understands that true power arises from within, not from numbers, wealth, or influence. In walking alone, he encounters moments of doubt and hardship that test every aspect of his being. Yet each challenge met in solitude becomes a silent teacher, revealing the depth of his own courage and the breadth of his own potential. This inner fortitude becomes a force of quiet gravity, influencing the world without seeking it. It is a power rooted in self-discipline, patience, and unwavering presence, a strength that alliances may aid but can never replace. In this way, the path of solitude transforms not only the man who walks it, but the life he shapes along the way. The path of the chosen is never light. With purpose comes responsibility, often invisible to those who observe only the surface. A man set apart carries burdens that few understand, decisions that shape not only his own life but ripple outward, touching paths unseen. These are not burdens of complaint or fear, but of vigilance, discipline, and unwavering commitment to principle. Ancient wisdom teaches that true leadership and mastery demand clarity above all. Choices cannot be guided by applause or fleeting approval. They must arise from a steadfast alignment with purpose. Each decision, each action is weighed not against convenience or comfort, but against the standards of integrity, vision, and discipline that the path requires. In the quiet of solitude, these choices are considered deeply, free from distraction, free from the sway of opinion. Walking alone becomes more than necessity. It becomes a tool for discernment. The mind, unclouded by the influence of others, sees the contours of truth with greater precision. Challenges are faced directly, without compromise, and each moment of reflection strengthens the ability to act decisively. In this space, responsibility transforms from a burden into a measure of inner strength. The weight carried by the chosen is both challenge and teacher. Patience grows as one learns to accept the unseen consequences of action. Courage is forged through repeated encounters with uncertainty. Discipline deepens, for every choice demands alignment with a higher calling. Over time, Walking alone cultivates a clarity that cannot exist in dependence on others, a certainty rooted in self-mastery, purpose, and the quiet understanding that the responsibility born in solitude is the foundation of true power. Through this weight, the chosen man discovers that responsibility is not confinement. It is the path that reveals the depth of his own resilience, wisdom, and unwavering dedication to the way he was meant to walk. Growth rarely arrives wrapped in ease or comfort. Along the path of the chosen, solitude becomes a forge where challenges, doubts, and moments of pain are not obstacles but teachers. Each trial, each flicker of uncertainty carries a lesson carefully hidden beneath its weight, waiting for the mind that is still enough to see it. Shaolin masters have long held that discomfort is the crucible of mastery. The body strengthens through strain, the mind sharpens through struggle, and the spirit deepens through endurance. Pain is not a signal to retreat, but a guide pointing toward inner fortitude. Every moment of unease, every pang of doubt, shapes resilience and cultivates patience, qualities invisible to the outside world, yet essential to a life of purpose. A chosen man learns to walk with hardship rather than against it. He meets uncertainty without fear, understanding that each challenge carries the seeds of insight. Moments that seem unbearable at first are transformed through disciplined attention and mindful reflection into opportunities for self-discovery. In embracing discomfort, he discovers the elasticity of his own strength, the breadth of his own patience, and the depth of wisdom that can only emerge through trial. Discomfort becomes a silent companion, one that whispers truths the world rarely teaches. It strips away illusions, tests resolve, and illuminates the path ahead with clarity forged through perseverance. By accepting hardship as part of the journey, the chosen man moves not with resistance, but with a calm, steady rhythm, each step deliberate, each struggle embraced, each lesson absorbed. In this way, the trials of solitude are no longer burdens. They are the shaping forces of mastery, guiding the mind, body, and spirit toward alignment, resilience, and an understanding of life that only those willing to endure, observe, and reflect can truly attain. Ego and desire are subtle currents that shape choices more than one often realizes. The pursuit of praise, wealth, or fleeting pleasures can cloud judgment, fragment attention, and tether the spirit to impermanence. A chosen man, walking his path alone, learns to see these attachments for what they are, temporary distractions that pull the mind from clarity and the heart from purpose. Shaolin wisdom teaches that detachment is not denial but liberation. Through mindful observation, the mind learns to witness desire without surrendering to it, to acknowledge ego without feeding it. Each breath becomes a reminder of presence, each deliberate action a reinforcement of freedom from external validation. In the quiet of solitude, the chosen man discovers that true satisfaction arises not from accumulation or approval, but from alignment with inner truth and disciplined action. Walking alone cultivates the ability to act from principle rather than influence. Without the weight of expectation or the lure of recognition, choices become pure expressions of integrity. Decisions are guided by the measure of what is right, rather than what is praised, and action emerges naturally from clarity rather than compulsion. In this space, ego loses its grip, and desire becomes a tool rather than a master. The discipline of non-attachment transforms not only the mind but the soul. Freedom is born in the understanding that happiness does not reside in external gain, but in the stillness and awareness cultivated within. Each moment of restraint, each mindful observation of thought and impulse strengthens mastery over self. Through detachment, the chosen man moves with serenity and purpose, untethered by the fleeting temptations of the world. His path is neither swayed by praise nor diminished by scarcity. It is defined by the quiet power of integrity, the clarity of intention, and the inner freedom that arises when ego and desire no longer command the journey. In the stillness of solitude, the world reveals itself in ways unnoticed by the distracted mind. When no eyes are upon him, a chosen man learns to observe without interruption, to see the movements, intentions, and subtle rhythms that others overlook. This quiet attentiveness becomes a form of mastery, a discipline that strengthens perception and refines understanding. Shaolin teachings emphasize that awareness is cultivated not through force but through patient observation. The chosen man watches without judgment, noticing patterns in nature, in behavior, and in the fleeting currents of thought within his own mind. Each detail carries insight, each moment of stillness allows hidden truths to emerge. In learning to see without being seen, he hones a clarity that is both subtle and profound, a vision unclouded by expectation or ego. Solitude amplifies this gift. Freed from the need to perform or respond, he can align entirely with the present. The world becomes a living teacher, offering lessons in timing, intention, and consequence. The chosen man discerns the unspoken currents between people, the invisible threads connecting events, and the deeper logic of situations that often eludes those entangled in distraction or noise. This heightened perception is not merely for understanding, it is a foundation for action. By observing carefully, one learns when to speak and when to remain silent, when to act and when to wait. Awareness becomes a shield against deception, a guide toward wiser decisions, and a means to cultivate harmony between mind, body, and spirit. Through observing without being observed, the chosen man discovers that true mastery begins in stillness. The world, in all its complexity, becomes intelligible not through force or haste, but through the patient cultivation of attention, the quiet discipline of presence, and the subtle art of seeing what others cannot. The rhythm of a chosen path is measured not by urgency, but by the quiet unfolding of time. Nothing of true value can be forced. Every step, every lesson, and every moment of insight arrives in its own season. A man who walks alone comes to understand this intimately, for there is no one to hurry him, no external pressure to bend his pace. Solitude becomes a teacher of patience, showing that waiting is not weakness but a form of wisdom. Shaolin masters have long observed that timing is the essence of action. Strike too soon and effort is wasted. Hesitate too long and opportunity passes unnoticed. The chosen man learns to attune himself to the currents of life, sensing when the moment is ripe for decisive movement and when restraint is the path of strength. Patience is cultivated through stillness, reflection, and disciplined awareness, each breath a reminder that progress is measured in alignment with the natural flow, not the demands of the world. Walking alone deepens this understanding. Without distraction or influence, one learns to trust intuition, to observe the patterns that govern change, and to move with deliberate grace. Challenges, delays, and setbacks are no longer seen as obstacles, but as essential elements of timing, teachers that prepare the mind and spirit for what is to come. The discipline of patience transforms perception. The chosen man begins to recognize that every event, every encounter, and every decision carries a moment uniquely suited for action. By embracing this rhythm, he cultivates calm confidence, a steady mind, and a deep harmony with life's unfolding. The wisdom of Shaolin shows that mastery is not in rushing toward the end, but in walking attentively through each moment, allowing purpose, clarity, and readiness to converge naturally at the precise time when action becomes most potent. True mastery arises when mind, body, and spirit move as one, each element supporting and reflecting the others. A chosen man learns that strength without clarity is fragile, knowledge without action is hollow, and intention without presence is empty. Harmony within becomes the foundation upon which every choice, every movement, and every thought rests. Ancient Shaolin teachings reveal that this alignment is cultivated through steady, disciplined practice. Meditation trains the mind to observe without distraction, to remain calm amid chaos, and to see beyond the surface of fleeting emotions. Mindful movement, whether in form, breath, or deliberate action, connects the body to the awareness of the present, strengthening focus, precision, and resilience. Daily routines, approached with discipline and care, reinforce consistency, patience, and the subtle integration of intention into life itself. Solitude serves as the crucible for this inner work. Without the noise of the world, the mind can settle, the body can attune, and the spirit can awaken to its own rhythm. Challenges faced alone refine not just skill, but character. Moments of stillness become moments of insight, and the steady practice of self-mastery gradually weaves mind, body, and spirit into a single coherent force. Through this alignment, the chosen man moves with purpose and presence. Each action reflects inner balance, each decision emerges from clarity, and each encounter resonates with centered energy. Power is no longer loud or forceful. It is quiet, deliberate, and undeniable, arising naturally from the harmony cultivated within. In embracing the discipline of alignment, he discovers that true mastery is not a distant goal, but a living practice. Every day offers the chance to refine thought, strengthen body, and elevate spirit, creating a being capable of moving through life with calm authority, unwavering focus, and profound inner freedom. Influence need not shout to be heard. A chosen man understands that the deepest impact is rarely measured by followers, applause, or outward recognition. True power flows quietly, emerging from the consistency of character, the discipline of mind, and the integrity of action. When a man walks aligned with purpose, each choice, each gesture, and each word carries weight, not because it demands attention, but because it embodies mastery. Shaolin wisdom teaches that leadership is rooted in presence, not performance. The quiet example of one who has cultivated patience, clarity, and self-mastery speaks more profoundly than any decree or instruction. Others sense the strength that is self-contained, and through observation, they are guided, inspired, and transformed, not by persuasion, but by resonance. Influence becomes a reflection of inner alignment, a force that moves subtly yet inevitably, like water shaping stone over time. Walking alone cultivates this power naturally. Free from dependence on alliances, approval, or external validation, the chosen man acts according to principle alone. His actions are deliberate, his intentions clear, and his presence steady. Others are drawn not to what he possesses, but to the quiet authority that radiates from a life lived with discipline and integrity. In this way, leadership is not a position, but a state of being. The chosen man does not seek to control or impress. He moves in accordance with higher understanding, allowing the subtle influence of example to ripple outward. Each act, rooted in awareness and mastery, becomes a lesson. Each decision, a demonstration of strength unshaken by circumstance. Through the cultivation of influence without dependence, he discovers that the most profound form of power is invisible yet undeniable, gentle yet transformative, a reflection of a life centered, disciplined, and fully awake to the principles that guide the path of the chosen. Walking alone is not a sign of weakness, but a deliberate step toward clarity, purpose, and self-mastery. The path of the chosen man may seem lonely to others, yet it is filled with lessons that strengthen the mind, body, and spirit. Courage, patience, and inner strength are cultivated in the quiet moments of reflection, in the discipline of daily practice, and in the mindful observation of life's flow. Through solitude, mindfulness, and the timeless principles of Shaolin wisdom, each of us can learn to walk with intention, act with integrity, and grow beyond the distractions of the world. By embracing these practices in your own life, you begin to shape a path guided not by opinion or desire, but by the quiet power of personal mastery and spiritual alignment. Let this teaching inspire you to find strength in stillness, clarity in reflection, and freedom in walking your own path. May each step you take, whether alone or among others, be a step toward wisdom, discipline, and harmony within yourself. Thank you for joining us on this journey. If you feel called to continue exploring the path of the chosen, subscribe to Shaolin Soulfire and walk with us in the pursuit of mastery, peace, and inner awakening.